Welcome kings and queens to Timeless Chat. This is your girl Tamika, back again with another video talking about why they consider us black. My son came to me one day and he asked me about why they consider us black. And I said, why do you ask? At that time he was staying with my mom for the day because I had some errand to run, him and his sister, and they were playing in the living room, and he said grandma was watching the television, and on the TV they said black people, or sometimes they say African American. And I said okay. And he said, why do they consider us black? Because I don't see my skin color as black. I see my skin color as brown. Because within slavery time there was a lot of things, and black people was downgraded. They put us down, so they consider us black like we're nothing, like we're beneath them. And that's where that black came from. And he said, but mommy, even though there were mean people in the world and they gave us that name, I still don't consider myself as black. And I said, why? He said, let me show you. And he went and get his crayons and he laid them out on the floor. And he said, this is black. Black is like a black bird, a black tire. And I'm not this color. And I said, you're right, you're not that color. And he's like, but if you look at the brown crayon, I'm more light. To explain to our little ones, our young kids, why they call them black, why they call them these names. And we think they're not listening and observing, and we have to educate them at a young age on things that really and truly they're supposed to be enjoying themselves, enjoying their friends, and enjoying playing, not worrying about the pigment of their skin, not worrying about, oh, they can't play with their white friends because they might get in trouble, or they can't play with their Indian friends because they're lighter than them, and why they're being picked out because of their skin color. It bothers me because throughout the years, we at a 2021 now, and we still have to be covering or trying to teach our kids about racism, when really and truly, why do we even have racism? Why does it exist? Because our kids don't know the difference when they're young. This is something that's self-taught. And if we are trying to change the world and we say we want to unite, and if a pandemic happened, oh, everybody's so lovey-dovey and everybody's trying to be the best them when these things happen, but at the same time, how can you say you want the best for your child and you want the best for this one, but at the same time you don't want the best for a black child, a brown skinned child? Everybody wants what's right for their child. Why do we have to separate them and teaching them black and white? Why can't we just let them be as kids and enjoy being happy? Because kids are not evil. They didn't born evil. They didn't born hating each other. They might disagree or want a toy or fight over a little toy, and then they're friends again. They're the most honest set of people on this earth. And at the same time, we're destroying the youths, because what are we teaching them? For centuries, we've been fighting this black and white and Christian and Jewish, all these fights. For what? What do we accomplish by fighting and saying that we want unity at one point, and oh, we love each other, and at the same time we killing each other? I don't know how to explain a simple thing to my son, because the pigment of his skin is different. So he get this judgment on him before he even was born. And that's not fair to him, but at the same time I have to teach him and tell him about these things that happened in the past. Then instead of him looking forward, he worrying about the past. I don't think that's fair for our kids to have that burden on them. It's good for them to have the knowledge of what their ancestors and all the people that passed went through to get us here. But we're in 2021 and we still have not accomplished nothing, because at the end of the day, they still call us black like we are nobody, know anything about these things. These are self-taught. We have to teach our kids about black and white and racism and all of these things. And why can't we move past these things? Why can't we grow and unite and love each other? It's bad enough that we fighting a pandemic, fighting something that is causing so much pain, and on top of it we have to still fight as brown skinned people or black skinned people for our life. It's bad enough we are fighting to keep her kids at bay, to make sure that they grow in the right way, and we trying to teach them the right things. But then at the same time, we still have to give them answers and questions, because they're listening and they're observing all the things that's going on around them. And these are one of the reasons why I try not to watch the news or listen to all these negative things that's happening in the world, because what are we feeding our kids? What are we teaching them? And then we wonder why they grow up with so much negative and hatred inside of them, because that's all they hearing. And every day you get up and you turn on the news, it's just bitterness, sadness, sorrow, nothing joyful that can uplift a person. So I tend to try not to feed into all of these things, but when it comes on to teaching my kid and trying to reach him to a point where I have to sit down and talk to him about it, why he's considered black and why they label him as black. It's sad because it breaks my heart that they're getting older and more generation is being born, but nothing is being changed. How can we unite and uplift ourselves and uplift each other when we're not uniting among our black community, among our brown skin community? We are not as one. We are not even uniting among each other within our community. So I think we should make sure that we're educating our kids at one thing, and make sure that we are taking the time to evaluate ourselves and our community, because we want change, but the change have to come within us too. We can't keep living in the past. We can't keep holding on to that past and driving that negative rage that we have, and we can't move forward. And yes, there are evil people out there that is very corrupted and don't mean no good, but were they always evil? They were taught to be evil. Kids are born very innocent and very truthful. So for them to grow up and be evil, that was something that was taught to them. And instead of us teaching our kids all these negative about pigment of color of skin and racism and who is not Muslim, Jew, why don't we just say, okay, I'm Christian, I want to have a conversation with my Jewish brother, or I'm black and you're white. Let's just unite and just call it a day. It's not that easy, I know, because a lot of corrupted people in this world, and a lot of people abuse their power. But for the kids' sakes, for the children, can we take it one day at a time and unite with each other instead of bringing down each other, especially in the middle class community? Start from somewhere. It starts from home, yes, but they said it take a whole community to raise one child. I would love for my community to come together and just have some kind of conversation every now and then and see how we can get on a common ground where we're teaching our kids about their past that our ancestor went through, but at the same time we are teaching them it's okay to be joyful and happy and not feel fear or sadness and worry about all these things that is in the world that's so corrupted. I'm trying to find ways to uplift our kids, uplift ourselves at home, communicate with our neighbors, communicate and be more mindful that we're not in this alone. We have to try to do it as a community. As I said, it takes a whole village to raise a child. And if we're going to say we want the best for our child, we have to start considering that we need to start being more aware of what's going on and teaching them that it's okay to love your brothers and sisters. It doesn't matter what race, what religion, what they choose to be in life. Just know that they're a human being and you try to love everyone as equally as possible and still be aware that there are people out there that don't mean you well.